Good morning, boys and girls. This week, or this month, the month of May, we're focusing on relationship building. So, to start off this week, I want you to think about who is a classmate you haven't talked to since quarantine started, and you can reach out to them, you can text them, you can call them. I also want you to think about how you can build relationships with people who you're quarantining with. So, is there a family member that you haven't gotten to spend a lot of time with that you could go for a walk with, or a bike ride, or help out around the house? But relationship building is really important. And so, I think, especially in this difficult time, that it's important to put in the work and to spend time with those you're quarantining with. So, go ahead and do that. Last week, we talked about finding the volume of a rectangular prism, and you guys did really well with the basics of multiplying length times width times height. I just have a few clarifying questions to go over, and then I'm going to add on to it a bit from what we did last week. So when we think of volume, I like to think about a toy box. And a toy box, it's a box that's usually made out of wood, and if you were to lift the lid of it, you can fit toys inside. But when we're finding the volume, we're not putting toys inside. We're usually putting some type of cubes. So maybe it's 1-inch cubes, or it's 1 foot cubes, but it's how much fits inside. So there's a couple questions this week that go over, like, what does volume mean? And so I really want you to understand that it's fitting inside, right, of a 3-dimensional figure. So here we multiply the length times the width times the height. So on this cube, and the cubes are shown here, the length is 3, the width is 2, and the height is 3. So when I multiply 3 times 2, I get 6, times 3, I get 18. You had a problem like this last week. However, it was confusing, and I didn't put the volume until later. So I want to go over this with you again. And now this week you have a few problems that go with, like, you're given the volume, but now we have to find the missing side. So it's working backwards. The first thing I always want you to do is write your formula for volume. Volume equals length times width times height. Do I know my volume? Yes, it's given to me. It's 120 inches cubed. So I'm going to put 120 here. Do I know my length? Yep, that's 6 inches right down here. Do I know my width? Yes, it's 2. So what I'm missing is my height each. So I don't fill that in. I solve as much as I can. So I know 6 times 2 is 12. 120 equals 12 times each. 120 divided by 12, and I get 10. So my height is 10. Remember, multiplication and division undo each other. They're inverse operations. So I know that 12 times 10 is 120. So 120 divided by 12 is 10. The last type of problem I want to go over is when it says find the volume of a figure, but no numbers are given, okay? So this is a cube. And the way that I find my length, width, and height is by counting each box or each cube. So here on the bottom, that's going to be my length. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. So my length is 4. My width is also on the bottom. So I count over on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. My height is how tall is my cube. So I'm going to count here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know that I counted this last cube when I counted the height, or the width, but I also count it when I'm counting height. So I just want you guys to be aware of that. So 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. So my height, not my height, my volume is 64 inches cubed, units cubed, okay? Have a great week this week. This week we'll be meeting for Zoom on Monday at 10:30. So I hope to see you all there. We'll be going over the work for this week, as well as answering any questions you have for your classwork. Stay healthy, get outside when it's beautiful, and have a great week.